All right. It is time. This is Infinite Investment Game. I'll talk about alternative investments and collectibles. This is not particular investment advice, but if you listen to this, you'll be a better collector and make smarter investments with your money. And please like, comment, and subscribe and share it with as many people as possible so we can defeat the YouTube algorithm. All right. So this is a cautionary sign. And this is what I talk about when we talk about organic demand versus hype driven demand here. Um, Here's some recent sales, and I'm gonna go through a few more. First, I'm going to eBay sold listings, and I think this is very, very important for people to look at and notice, right? So what we have here is the 1994 Miami Bumblebee Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson PSA 10 card. I personally actually thought this card was somewhat cool. I didn't think I did think it was overhyped, let's just say that. So why am I showing you this, right? This card, as of September 4th, 2022, sold for about $30,000, which is a hefty price. This is the first ever card made for Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. It is a rare card. My thing was with this, why a lot of people were talking about it. Gary Vee was talking about it. He bought it for, I guess, cheap, $5, $6, $7, $8, $9,000. And he was pumping this card up. He was doing it, and then sports card investors started talking about it. And then who else? There were other people who were talking about it. But this card went up drastically. And you can see here, this is actually a low of $30,000. And eventually it hit over 100,000. I'm going to show you the evidence for that as well. And very low pop count. People liked it because it was perforated. It was like a book. And no one at the time thought Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson would be anything in 1994. Even if he was a superstar football player, because that's the only thing people really thought about. Most people didn't even know who he was. He was a defensive guy. And it didn't make sense to me because this is a defensive player. He played DN for a college team, Miami, the U or whatever, and he wasn't even a starter. It got to the point where he was a backup behind Warren Sapp and all these other guys, had Ed Reed and all these other guys. So junk wax era, 1994, college card, defensive end. And the guy wasn't even a superstar or amazing player, amazing stats for not going to the Hall of Fame, even in college. All right. So people would be like, why would this card be anything? But Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson became a fantastic wrestler. But that's not even why his cards are so big, or people you thought about his cards being so big. Is really more so because of his acting career. He's one of the top actors in Hollywood. And I like a lot of his movies. I think most people I see like many of his movies. He just seems to be overhyped in Hollywood. And then on Probstein, and people are very critical of Probstein because of shield bidding. I don't think it's particularly their fault, but shield bidding. So normally whatever sells at Probstein, people look at it as, oh, it's so higher than what it generally sells for. So whatever the price sells for Probstein, it's probably a little bit less because of shield bidding. Well, it sold for $9,400, right? So then, at best, a PSA 10 card is going to be only $9,400. We see here for PWCC, a year and a half ago, this card was $22,256 with the buyer's premium. Same card, PSA 10, right? Let's look at this one. You got PSA 10s here. We can go back a little bit. 2020. That were Not that much, right? Because they've gone up. Let's be real. Right? They're going up for $2,000, 3,000, 3,000. So for a while, these were $3,000 cars, and they were slowly going up over the year, and they shot up to $9,000. So this is 2 years ago. They're going back to price 2 years ago. Then 10,000, then 13, then $45,000, $90,000, 79,000, 42,000, 47,000. I remember they went over $100,000. And why is this important? The reason why this is important for these prices, and me even saying this went over $100,000, is because Dwayne the Rock Johnson put out some messages about the card. You had Deshaun Watson saying stuff about the card. Apparently he bought one. You had a lot of these people buying these cards at a very high price. Many of them were athletes. Many of these people were influencers buying these cards. I remember on Sports Card Investors, one of his streams, he said, he had one of his guys on there. I don't remember his name, bald-headed guy, who was talking about how he liked to perforate the Rock card and how it was a piece of sports history, playing for the U and all that. And I think Ryan from Card Collector 2 bought that card too, right? I don't think they sold it. And now you see this going down. And the reason why people wanted this card was because of hype. Gary Vee hyped it up, so a lot of people wanted a card. Hype-driven demand is different than organic demand. When you see hype-driven demand, this is what happens. These cards go from, and I'm not trying to be negative about the sports card market. I'm trying to warn people about this. $40,000, $90,000, $80,000 when it's driven by hype. Then they go down to $22,000 when it's driven by hype. They eventually go back down to $9,400. There's so many people lost money here. And listen, maybe in 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years, it goes back up. But I don't see this going up like that. I think people have other bills to pay. They got other things going on in their life, and that's just not the focus. There's some 46,000, 46,000, 26,000, 30,000. That's a major loss for a lot of people, especially here. PWCC Vault. PWCC doesn't have this on their website anymore, but PSA got it. For auctions, 45,000. You know what I'm saying? Here, $80,000. $79,200. There's some people lost out. If you're this person who bought it for 79, 90,000, some people probably bought it under the table for around that much on a private sale. You feel bamboozled. If something is basically a 1/10 of the price now, to get back to what it needs to be, it has to 10x. And most of these cards aren't going to do that. And if they do, it's not going to be anytime soon. It's not going to be in a year. It's not going to be in 2 years. Not going to be in 3 years. Let's look at Golden Auction. They like this card, $46,800, 26 bids. They set the price for $30,000 on this website here. People need to understand that they need to be careful. They really have to be careful with this, because this is going to happen. This is going to happen with a lot of cards. And they thought this was like the safe card, right? People need to be careful. I don't really know what else to really say to people. Like, this is what happens. This is just what happens in the sports card market. This is what happens in the collectibles market. If this was organic and there was organic demand over time, you wouldn't see large drops like this. Maybe there'd be a drop because there was hype in everything, but then it would have probably dropped to, maybe $50,000. If it went up to 90,000, or it drops to 40,000, or stay at 30, it would not be dropped to 9,400. And to be honest with you, I think it's going to go down a bit more. It may go down to about $5,000, $6,000. And I think that's the issue that people really need to understand. And unless you got into it probably around 2019, early 2020, you're probably going to lose money, especially with fees and taxes and all that other stuff. So that's something that people just aren't looking at. I'm not trying to be negative, but that's just something that people need to look at. But yeah, that's my video. Please like, comment, subscribe, and peace.